Class. Class.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the 757 Renaissance Man podcast. And if you've been keeping up, you would know we are still rolling on with the C4 Challenge, the Content Creators of Color Collective 30-Day Challenge. And since time is running kind of low, guess where y'all gonna hear this episode at on the 30-Day Challenge? So, Chris, you have unwittingly been dragged into this challenge. How are
You saw
you
my
today?
face like, oh no, did I miss that part? I love it.
Oh, yeah, by the way,
Welcome.
what's going on, Chris? How you doing today?
Oh man, doing well, brother. How are you, man?
Ladies and gentlemen, we're speaking with Mr. Chris Giles of Black Tie Media. Tell people a little bit about yourself.
Hey man, what's going on, everybody? Chris P Giles. I'm a owner, founder, lead creator over at Black Tie Media. We help content creators monetize and simplify their process. Also, audio engineer, do a live event space, and I mean that's me in a nutshell, man. Quick and dirty.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And he's a 757 cousin.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Came up in the, what is it? Was it 804?
540,
540. Okay. Yeah, man.
Not to be confused with those no limit guys, you know, not the 504, the 540.
Fredericksburg.
Tell them.
So explain to me what you do for content creators. I mean, I know, but
Yeah.
for all the people out there, and especially since this is kind of going for the 30-day challenge, I'm going to be, we're going to be dealing with a lot of other content creators, and maybe this might be some information that can help them out.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. One of the biggest things that we got into was the education piece, right? We wanted to train people, one, how to get paid for what you're doing. And not, you don't have to wait till you got 1 million followers and all that, but how at the level that you're at, micro and nano influencers, how there's money out there for you. So for me, currently, one of my biggest platforms is Amazon Live specifically, right? And so we launched the Amazon Live group to teach people how to make money specifically on that platform. And then we've been expanding that, one, to bring people to the platform because it's newer, but two, hey, this is not the only way. It's not just affiliate income, right? There's sponsorships out there. There's what's the business that's around your show, whether it's a podcast or a live stream or you're a blog writer. And so that's the biggest thing we try to do is educate everybody around us on how to get this money, no matter your size, man.
So what was the inspiration for that?
Bro, you know, it's funny. We kind of fell into it in a sense, like, so you know, pre 2020, I was live. I did live events. That's what I did. I was an audio engineer. I DJ'd, and so when 2020 hit and like literally March came, the rest of my year was canceled. Like I had so many places to be, and it was just like nope, nothing. And so I was into video games, and so I was like, well, I got some time on my hands. Why don't I game, and then I'll just live stream the gaming, right? Stumbled into a buddy of mine that I'd known for years, and he was crushing it on YouTube. I mean, something like, 100 followers up to like 10,000 halfway through last year. And, he's at 22,000 now. It's like crazy. And he was, got with him talking about YouTube. Hey, tell me this YouTube thing. And he whispers, he goes, well, you should actually go check out Amazon Live because it's new. Nobody really knows. And so, I mean, jumped over there, man. And what I realized is as we were meeting new creators, um, one, they were just kind of accepting. They were trying to figure out how to do the brand deal, right? And they were like, "Hey, people keep sending us products, but like, how do we get paid?" Or they were like, "Hey, we get paid $50 to do this thing," and it was just kind of like, "This is a business. Like, you can make more money than that." Like, and so it just became a passion because I got tired of seeing people not making money that they deserve. You know what I mean? Leaving money on the table and not even understanding one that they could make money. There was so many people that didn't even know that oh, I have a podcast. I can make money. Like, we've been in the rooms with Billy and stuff, and just the amount of people that go, no, I just do it for fun. And you're like, well, why not get your hobby paid for it, even if it is just for fun, right? So,
When so okay, so now that you're tying people's creatives with that money, with that bag.
Yeah.
How do you? A lot of times, people when they're creative, it's their baby.
Right.
You know,
Right. Right.
how do you work with people's passion projects
Yeah.
because they're trusting you with their babies?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
No, absolutely.
is a level of responsibility that goes with that?
Oh yeah, it's a huge responsibility, man. Because jumping into that, like, if you trust me with your, if like you said, you trust me with your baby, or trust me with helping you teach your, grow your baby, right? Then I mean, it's a lot of responsibility because then you have to figure out, well, if I mess up, it could come out not looking the way that it wanted to look, right? So one of the biggest things for me is whatever your passion is we figure that out up front because we don't want to diminish the passion by just putting dollar signs on it, right? So for example, trying to think, I have a artistic friend. If their art is a very specific style of art and that's what they believe in, then I'm not going to go get Crayola to sponsor them, right?
Hmm.
Because they're like, no, we do watercolors, or you know what I mean, and like keeping it as close to what you're doing and the passion that you have, so that way it doesn't get tainted, you know.
Yeah, yeah. So okay, I know you talk about that all the time. I want to talk about how did you get into audio engineering, and did you realize how did you realize that was your passion?
Bro, so funny. I've been mixing since I was 16.
Mhm.
I started DJing when I was 18. It's funny because it started out as a way to get out of church. I didn't want to sit in the church, and I was like, well, how do I do it? I got to join the ministry, and parking lot ministry got hot in the summertime. So I was like, well,
Uh-huh.
what's inside that I can do while church is going on? And I got in there. I started mixing and doing video because we had the cameras, and I was like, well, I love music. Music was always a love of mine. So then it was kind of like, how do I parlay this into an actual thing? A lot of people don't even try to attempt their dreams, right? They just kind of throw it out there and be like, well, somebody makes it, right?
Mhm.
And for me, it was always being my goal was always to be the DJ, the producer. Like I wanted to be on that level, and so it just honestly kind of stuck with me in that sense that I never gave up on that.
Mhm. So, what do you like best? Do you like mixing audio behind the scenes, or do you like being the DJ up front and getting the attention?
Man, that's funny. I honestly like the mix. And that's why it's like I like to go back and forth with it because I mean sometimes I am like, yeah, let's go. I'm that guy. Let's jump in front. But even when I DJ, it's funny because I'm more like if we had to not by no means am I comparing my skill level to this, right? But if you ever watch Jazzy Jeff DJ,
Yes.
rarely does he talk. He generally has a hype man that talks for him and he just does his thing on the tables. And like that's how I DJ. I prefer to have somebody emceeing or hosting for me. And so it's always still kind of this background, just enough of me to know that's what I do.
Mhm.
But I don't have to be the face of everything. And so, it's kind of where I find comfort in, I guess you say.
All right. So, how do you balance your church side and your DJing side?
Oh, that's a funny one, man. I battled with that for
And do
so
they
long,
ever? Do
man.
both worlds ever combine?
Yeah, man, that's I battled with that for years, man. Because you growing up in church, and kind of in more of a strict way, right? Like, oh, you can't go be in the club. Like, how you gonna go DJ in the club and then come to church on Sunday? Like, and what I came to was I'm just playing music at the club. Like, I'm not in there, partying and getting drunk and
Mhm.
all the other kind of stuff that could kind of come with that lifestyle, right? That's not what I was doing. I was coming there to do what I do, get a check, go home. And so, though there was a lot of flack, it never really bothered me because I just never really cared really what people thought. And it got to a point where, honestly, years in, I can't even remember how many years, but a few years after I got married, I started learning about like Christian hip hop and that kind of style of music. And I was like, oh, well, this is the thing. But it was, in my opinion, it was corny at the time. Like,
It
it wasn't
was.
what
It
we were.
was. Yeah, I agree with you. It was.
so, so it was like, well, how do we do that? How do we get some better music that we could do in the church. And so it was always this mix of, I DJ for churches. Like so many churches call me the DJ now. Back then you never heard of that. I never had a DJ at the church because there was no music for them to play. Were they just coming to play the Kurt Franklin CD? Like,
Right.
so it definitely has been a journey. But now, I mean, for real, if there's a check involved, generally I'm DJing wherever it is.
No doubt. No doubt. So, what do you have planned for the future and the future of Black Tie Media?
Man, that's so good. That's so deep. A huge piece of it is this creator economy. Like, I mean, essentially how we kind of met, right? Um, is that one, I want to be able to help other creators, and I'm working on and trying to narrow in the way that I'm able to help creators the best way possible, and specifically creators that don't have a large following is really the passion, right? Because if you got a large following, generally speaking, there's somebody out there willing to take a cut of your money to to do it for you, right?
Right. Point you in the right direction.
Right, point you in the right direction. My goal though is like the content creators that the mom bloggers that just have 1,000 followers, but there's mom bloggers with 1,000 followers that make six figures
Hmm.
doing it, and knowing that look, that's possible. And so that's definitely one piece of the business, and we're kind of in a restructuring stage now, as I'd say, uh, to figure out how we do that best. Because we tried it once, it didn't go as well. We went too big, and it had to go home. So
Hmm.
so that's that. And then I mean, the other side is production, man. One of my passions are production and live event production specifically. And honestly, I want to grow one of the largest production companies out there. And so there's the big boys, the PRGs, and the man, I just forgot the other dude's name. But these are the companies that do the Super Bowl events, right?
Hmm.
They're the ones that you see there, but half people don't know who they are because they're the behind the scenes person. And so that's something that's on my site to build that. So as things starting to open back up and we're on the road more, it's I'm starting to see that vision open up again, man.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. So, we discussed how your transformation came during COVID.
Yeah.
What else did you learn during that time while we were at home? What did you learn about yourself?
Bro. Man, man, you got some deep questions on here, man. For me, not that that's gonna sound crazy, not that I had too much ambition, but that I always need to check my ambition, right? Because I was one of those, like, I'm head down, like when it's time to go, it's time to go. And so I'm running full speed. And we kind of got into the year, and I was, like I said, I had the whole year planned out. It was going to be financially, it was going to be one of the best years I've had in my career. Um, but I also just had two babies. And so I have, now they're 2 and 3 of the youngest ones, and then I have 2 16-year-olds. And so what I realized at that point was I needed to take time and watch them grow. And because my 16-year-olds, I had them when I was like 19. So again, I was DJing, I was out. Like I was there, but I
Mhm.
wasn't there, right? And so this was kind of the time to be able to say, okay, you have babies now. Watch them learn to walk and learn to talk and do all the things that you missed before. And this is kind of the I don't know if redemption is the right word, but this is kind of your opportunity to be a part of that process. So I did learn that I had to include the family more.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. That man, I think if anything, if nobody got anything out of that time, you should have reflected on yourself a little bit.
Absolutely.
Even if it was just like day 10 and you just tired of being in the house.
Right. Right.
But a lot of good things were born out of it. So
Oh yeah. I mean, look, I'm thinking of plenty. Man, the amount of people that I met online
mhm,
that I wouldn't have met. It's weird because you wouldn't have met them in person, in my opinion, right? Because you had access. One of the what's the app? Clubhouse. Clubhouse is crazy, and it wasn't birthed out of COVID, but guess what? It was
COVID
it
helped
blew
it.
up in it,
Yeah, that was his adolescence period.
right? And so the amount of people that I've met, connected with, and communicated with through that, man, that's just, I mean, that's priceless. Like you couldn't have planned that better.
So you mentioned growing up in the church, and you talking to a fellow church kid, a PK.
Yeah,
How does your faith help guide you in what you do in business?
man. For me. I have to see what the positive is going to be out of it now. Growing up, like I told you, I've wanted to be in the music game my whole life, right? And back then, it was about the money and the flash and like what you saw on TV. We grew up watching, BET and MTV and saw what the rappers did and what they had, and so it was chasing that. And when I finally got to a point of, it's not bad to have or want nice things, right? But when that's the only reason, then that's where the problem kind of comes in. The old scriptures, the root of evil is the love of money.
Go ahead now.
It's not the money, right? It's the money's good.
Go
I
ahead and
love that.
preach now.
But it's not the money, it's the love of it. And so when you use it for the tool that it is, then it's all good. So have nice things, but also be ready to give back. Be ready to, bring other people up, help other people get it too.
I think that's interesting that you brought that up, because I think that once you're labeled as a Christian or a person of faith, people look at you through different lenses.
Oh yeah.
And why can't you? Why? Because I got to be a Christian, I got to struggle.
Yeah. I gotta be broke, man.
Yeah. Like my other argument is, why, if I'm a Christian, why I got to be a punk?
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Why I gotta be a punk? Why I gotta let you talk to me crazy because I'm a Christian?
Because we supposed to turn the other cheek, right?
Right. I think because I'm a Christian, I'm supposed to be able to lay you out and then go ask for forgiveness.
Yeah. Oh, so good.
Yeah, that's things are changing in the church, but that's what I would like to see.
Yeah.
I think we should be able to be more open. I grew up as a preacher's kid, so I got to see both sides of it, the ins and the outs, and I also recognize that church is a business.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I just think that with our kids and coming up, we need to be a little bit more transparent than the generations before us. They was worried about women wearing pants, and it was
Yeah.
And now look what we had. That's the last thing.
It's like, oh, let's go back to those days. Those easier days. Yeah, bro.
All right, Chris. So I'm gonna let you go, because this was gonna be a real quick episode for today. But what I want to know, and what I ask all my guests, if a young Chris came to you and asked you for life advice, what would you tell him?
Oh man. Man, I would say literally, literally, you can do anything in your life that you want to, if you're actually willing to put the work in.
Dope.
Yeah. That's the deep. My dad told me I joked one day. I said I'm gonna get on a big stage one day when I feel like when we made it, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna say, man, my dad told me a thing. He said, he said you can be whatever you want to be, and I dared to actually believe that he meant it.
Right.
Because so many people don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. All right, so how can everybody get in touch with you? What's your socials, your websites, all your information? Go.
Yeah, man. Everything is Chris P Giles, so ChrisPGiles.com, and then Chris P Giles 1 on all social media.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you spending time today. This episode is going to be going down in history as an episode included in the C4 Challenge. You were one of my lucky special edition episodes.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
So everybody check out the Content Creators of Color Challenge. We are on Instagram. I'm going to link all the things. Also check out 757renaissanceman.com. If you go there, you can get video, audio, leave us a message. Let us know what you want us to talk about next. And that's it, man. I think we up out of here. That's a good one for today.
Hey, bro, appreciate you for having me, man.
I think I got some editing to do. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to the 757 Renaissance Man podcast. I'm Sean. That's Chris. We out. Peace.
Peace.